I had a little bit of downtime, and it's been about a month since we last went live. I'm here in the car, so I wanted to go live and see how many people are going to actually show up if I actually just go live. So here we are. Um, we just hit 1,500 subscribers, and I want to thank each and every single one of you guys for that monumental milestone. And if you guys have any questions at all, as people start coming in, I will answer them. So, uh, just got off a long week, and so it's nice to be here and enjoy the weekend. I hope you guys are enjoying this Labor Day weekend. Ooh, we got one like, so we're off to a good start. We're off to a good start. Hey, we got 3 people in here now. Hey, what's going on? What's going on? Hopefully, y'all are having a good Labor Day weekend. Mr. Cigar says, looking good, my buddy. Hey, thank you so much. Just got a new haircut. But tomorrow I'm gonna be heading up north, visiting family, and then on Labor Day, I'm actually gonna be hanging out with a buddy of mine, spending time with family, trying to eat some good food. Thank you. TB says looking sharp. Thank you. Where are some places that I should consider getting something to eat? Are there restaurants that you guys like going to that I might have here in Richmond? Life is too short to spend time. It's too short. Spend time with those who you love. Yeah, definitely. Life is too short. I realize that a lot. It's kind of a hey, good evening from South Africa. Thank you. I look forward to always seeing your comments. So thank you for showing up. Yeah, life is definitely too short. It's kind of, I'm kind of put in a dilemma as a father. Is, having to work and provide for your family, but also wanting to spend as much time as possible with them. That's why I'm no longer an over-the-road truck driver. So before I got married, when I was dating my wife, I was an over-the-road truck driver for a company called Werner, and I did that for about 6 months. And then when we got married, I started working for J.B. Hunt as a regional driver, and I was delivering Amazon. Well, I say delivering Amazon. I wasn't like a delivery driver to your house, but I was driving 18-wheeler to Amazon distribution centers. Loved that job. It was one of the easiest truck driving jobs I've ever had, except for when they would want you to go up to New York, New Jersey. That I probably would substitute. I would rather not do that kind of driving. But when when my wife and I had our daughter, and my daughter's almost 2 now, Mike Hunt, no, JB Hunt is the trucking company. What's wrong with New York and New Jersey? I don't like driving. I don't like driving a semi truck in New York and New Jersey. The only time I ever I've only ever been to New York City once in my whole life, and it was at 1 a.m. in an 18-wheeler, and I was supposed to be going to Queens, and I was going over the George Washington Bridge, and they were doing road work. This was about a year and a half ago, and I'm going over the bridge, and they were doing construction, and they had shut it down, and I'm in the right lane, and they closed all the lanes except for the far left lane. And so I'm trying to get across and merge through this traffic, and there's this lady in a minivan next to me, and she flips me off. And I'm like, lady, I'm just trying to get over. These lanes are ending, so um, I gotta go. And so I finally make it over the George Washington Bridge, and I'm in New York City, and I'm driving, trying to find the small Amazon distribution center. And in New York City, a lot of these one way roads, people like to double park. So you got people parking on the right and the left hand side. And so I felt like an elephant trying to make it down a rabbit trail, and this 18 wheeler squeezing my way down these streets. And so when I finally get to this Amazon distribution center, I make the turn into it, back in, drop the trailer, give the do the paperwork, and then I hooked up to the new trailer. And when I went to make the turn out of the parking lot, there were cars lined the whole way across. So I didn't have the turning radius that was necessary for me to make that turn. And I looked, and on the passenger side of the truck, there was a tree that was sitting there, and it was wrapped in metal, because what they were doing was truck drivers were to make the turn, were dragging their trailers across that tree, and the tree was actually pushing the back end of the trailer around. And so after that experience, I wrote off going to New York City in a truck, at least. So that, hopefully that answers your question. I'm sure that New York and New Jersey are perfectly fine in other areas, but in a semi truck, I will pass. But that's just me personally. And Atlanta, Georgia. I would also rather not drive in Atlanta if I don't have to. And luckily, I don't, for the most part, anymore. So as a local driver, I get to be home every day. So I don't really have to worry about that kind of stuff, since I don't drive that far. All right, let's see. Let me go back up and read some of these comments. The Omega Forever says, good day to you. Mr. Cigar says, gas station sandwich, best options. Okay. And then there was you good? I'm great. What's wrong with New York and New Jersey? All right, we read that. So, yeah. Oh, so I'm just glad to, made it through the week. I only ended up working 4.5 days, got off, only worked a half day yesterday, got off a little bit early. I have some PTO that I need to use up by the end of the year. So I'm just trying to burn up some PTO here and there as I can. And wanted to take a little bit of an extended weekend. I'll be off Monday. So that's nice. And that's a holiday for me. And yeah, I'm gonna take this car up. I got to inspect it, because I've heard that there might be an oil leak on my vehicle. And for those of you who don't know, and I don't think I've ever talked about this on this channel at all, I drive a 2012 Acura. And so, you get this is what I like to say, you get with an Acura product, and I really love Honda and Acura, but you get, specifically with Acura, you get BMW quality, right? Luxury, I should say. You get BMW luxury with Honda reliability. And so I do all my own maintenance for the most part, because I enjoy the peace of mind knowing that my vehicle is being maintained the way and held to the standard that I enjoy. And I can save myself an incredible amount of money by doing so. And I'm also able to save others quite a bit of money as well. And so over the past year or so, I've been helping out with friends and family members, doing vehicle maintenance for them. And I've probably saved people and myself tens of thousands of dollars. Last year I was driving this, and I'll show you guys this. Hopefully I can flip this camera around. I drive a stick shift, so this is a 6-speed manual transmission, and I believe that that's the way the good Lord intended vehicles to be driven, is with a 6-speed. And I was driving this into work, and I was in 5th gear, and I put my foot to the floor, and the car didn't go anywhere. The clutch was engaged, or was supposed to be engaged, but the RPMs shot up. And so I knew that my clutch was beginning to slip and that I had a very limited amount of time before my clutch was completely gone. So I called around to a few transmission shops, and they said that it was going to be, the lowest quote I got was $2,600 to replace the clutch, and all the way up to like $3,700 to replace the clutch when it was slipping. And I was like, I do not have, thousands of dollars to be throwing at a clutch. The tunnel take says, hey, there he is. Hey, I'm here. Glad to see y'all are popping in. But I didn't have the money to throw towards this clutch. So I ordered the parts online, and all said and done, parts alone was about $400. And then, no, not even. It was probably about $300 in parts. So that's clutch, and pressure plate, the flywheel. I didn't replace the flywheel, and I didn't. It didn't seem to have any problems. And it took me a weekend. It took me about 3 days. It wasn't the first day. I was working on another project, so it was more like a day and a half of dedicated work towards the vehicle. Now, this was my first time ever replacing a clutch, so a lot of that was first time trying to work on a vehicle. So there was, a learning curve to it all. It was one of the most involved vehicle repairs that I've ever made on my own. Well, I wasn't by myself. I had a buddy working with me, but between the two of us, a lot of sweat, a lot of water, and we were able to replace the clutch. And it's been great ever since. And this car has, how many miles do I have on it? 170,711 miles, and it is driving perfectly fine. I still have some more maintenance I need to do to the vehicle, but I did it on a pair of jack stands in the driveway, and I saved myself about $3,000 doing it. And so but by doing that, I taught myself self-reliance, and that is something that we need to learn how to do more. And with that sort of confidence to be able to do projects, whether it's an oil change, changing your own brakes, you can save yourself money, and you can build confidence in a skill set. Oh, Piper Dave is in here. Welcome. I'm subscribed to you, by the way. Enjoy the content. Glad to see you're in here. If you guys have any questions for me, I'm here answering questions, hanging out with you guys. I got about 30 minutes to hang out. Oh, nice. Yeah. Look, I was when I was, how old was I? 18, 19. I might have been 18 or 19 years old. I wanted to become a mechanic. And so I started working for a mechanic shop. But very quickly I realized that, at least here, it is very, tools are expensive, one, and I have a passion for cars. I love cars. It's an addiction. I promise you. I've owned like 10, and I'm only 24. So yeah, it's a problem. I understand it. I'm fully aware of it. I have made my peace with it. Before I married my wife, I informed her of it. Now, I'm not going to, purchase vehicles to the detriment of my family and my future, but it is something that is a significant expense, or has been a significant expense in uh, my life. And by working on cars myself, by the time the weekend would come around and I was off work, I wouldn't want to look at another car, and I realized that it was starting to hinder my own passions. So I moved away from it. That and the cost of tools, diagnostic tools. I mean, to be a mechanic, you have to be an electrician, a plumber, a computer tech, you know, and now you have to deal with all sorts of bells and whistles and craziness. It is not what it used to be. Um, Create wealth and then let your wealth pay for all that. Defer that gratification. Absolutely. Absolutely. I've been listening to and reading a lot of financial books. I've specifically been listening to Total Money Makeover by Dave Ramsey this week. I actually kind of I think I want to talk about that. That might be a video I might do if you guys are interested in me sharing my thoughts and kind of like my process with that. But I'm about a couple chapters into that book right now. I actually received Financial Peace University, the whole set, as a wedding gift from my church when my wife and I got married. And so I've been listening to that. But yes, delayed gratification is essential. And it's very difficult for a lot of people to do that, especially in my generation. There has been a new term that I recently came across that I was unaware of, and that is being used by Gen Z, and that term is doom spending. Let me look at some of these comments before I continue on. Cars are a liability. Yes. Yeah, cars can be a liability. They can, in some certain aspects, they can be an asset, depending on what vehicle you're buying. But by and large, they are a depreciating asset and are a risk, and they should not make up a significant portion of your net worth, or a significant and it's crazy that we see people making $46,000 a year and driving a $47,000 car. That's craziness, at least where I'm at. But let's see. Hello, Blue Ridge Piper and everyone else. Central Cal Piper. Hey, thank you for tuning in, Central Cal. I appreciate you being in here. H&X Media says 2003 Jeep lasted for 18 years. People laughed. I laughed all the way to the bank. Absolutely. Recently, well, I guess it's not been recent. Well, recent is relative, right? I'm 24. But when my wife and I just found out that we were pregnant, we were debating what was the best course of action for a family car. And we ended up buying a 2019 Toyota RAV4. And the reason we bought something, we didn't want to buy something that was brand new, even though there were plenty of people at multiple car dealerships that would have been happy to sell it to us. But the reason we wanted something that was newer is, one, safety, reliability, the fact that she's going to be the one who was primarily transporting my daughter. I didn't want to put her into a vehicle that was too old, just in case she was to come across a reliability issue and be broken down on the side of the road. Winter, summer, bad weather, I didn't want to deal with that, right? And I didn't want to put my family and loved ones in that type of situation. And it only had 56,000 miles on it, and I do all the maintenance on it. and I will probably have it, and I'd like to hope to have it in 20 years or so. And like he said, a 2003 Jeep lasted for 18 years. If I could get 18 years out of this car, I will be in my 40s, and I'm okay with that. Um, cars are expensive. Enjoy tobacco with me. Jake says cars are expensive. Yeah, cars are a freaking nightmare expense these days. Um, the average car, I think the average new car payment in the United States right now is $800 a month, and I think the average used car payment in the United States is 600. So people are spending between $600 and $800 a month for a single car. Craziness. All right. HNX Media says, had that Jeep for 18 years, which is why I could buy my 2021 Tacoma for cash. And if you know about the Tacomas, not only did he buy a 2021 Tacoma for cash, he bought a Tacoma that is probably going to be worth, you know, $5,000 to $10,000 less than he bought it for. Depreciation on Tacomas, they're one of the slowest depreciating vehicles. I was actually looking at Tacomas on Facebook Marketplace last week just for fun, because like I said, I'm a car guy and I am addicted, and I'm chronically on Facebook Marketplace looking for more vehicles to purchase. Vehicles that I'll never purchase, but you know, I like looking. And I was seeing 2013 Tacomas selling anywhere from $15,000 to $21,000, and these had 100,000 plus miles on them. So that tells you what the Tacoma market is like. Mr. Cigar says my Toyota is 10 years old with 105,000 miles, and it will probably last another 10 years and go another 100,000 miles. And that's the beauty of having a Toyota or a Honda product, is they will not die if properly maintained. Car insurance is another monthly expense you have to be careful of. Absolutely. And it's so difficult because it feels like highway robbery. Insurance, because you can't operate a vehicle without it, and it makes such a significant portion of the vehicle cost. And I like listening to financial videos while I'm making my drive around as a truck driver, and the amount of people that I've heard with $6, $7, $8, $9,000 monthly car payments with another $300-$400 in insurance is insane. And you know, that means what they spend on vehicles is what some person spends on rent or their mortgage. You make me feel old. I'm already 40. Hey, it's a blessing to be 24. I will admit. My wife still drives a 2000 Toyota Echo and loves it. That thing is a little beast. Sips gas. I smile as I pass SUVs as I drive that thing. Yeah, because the first, okay, so by the way, to put this into perspective, HNX Media, that 2000 Toyota Echo that she owns is the same age as me. I was born in 2000, so that's crazy to think about. Not trying to make anybody feel old here, but I was born 2000. Yeah, so it's very easy for me to remember how old I am, because I will always be as old as the year. If it's 2024, I will always be 24. It's a blessing, and it's also the default for a lot of websites when you have to put in your birthday. So I will not ever complain with that. Piper Dave says, $1,000 payment plus $500 insurance, and people are still wondering why they can't get ahead. And that right there, Piper Dave, is my sentiment exactly. You hit it. You nailed it right on the head. And so many people, um, Americans do not, in my opinion, have an income problem. They have a spending problem. And so many Americans uh, live beyond their means. And they are going on trips that they can't afford. They're buying cars that they should not be buying at insane interest rates. I was listening to a show yesterday where this woman was on there talking about a vehicle purchase that she had made. She bought a 2021 Kia for $34,000. Trying to remember all the details. And she had now brace yourself, she had a 30% interest rate on that vehicle. 30% on a car payment. Now, her credit was trash, I promise you. And she said that that was all that she could get approved for. And I was like, yeah, sounds like it. But 30% interest rate, that's insane. You're a credit to your generation. Thank you. I try to be. I would try to be an inspiration for people to see that, hey, there you can live a life well, even in 2024. Lots of people my age, and a lot of people of all ages, seem to be concerned that the American dream is dead, and I do not agree with that sentiment. I think that the American dream is alive and well, but I think that the steps that are necessary to achieve the American dream might be more difficult, but that doesn't mean that they are gone. And so to live that life, you must make the decisions necessary to achieve it. And a lot of people aren't willing to sacrifice. A lot of people DoorDash when they could cook at home. A lot of people put things on buy now, pay later installments and on credit cards. And look, I used to think that Dave Ramsey was wrong when he said that no one should leverage debt. And I am walking that back pretty fast because it is what holds back Americans constantly. The average credit card payment, the average credit card balance that is carried on a month-to-month basis in the United States is something like $6,700. Let's assume that's at a 27% interest rate. Crazy. Here, new cars go between 500,000 rupees. Is it? Oh, what's R500,000? What currency is that? HNX Media says the American dream is not dead. The American work ethic might be. Yeah. A lot of people are. It's not only the work ethic, because okay, so I understand what you're saying, because I definitely see my fair share of people who have poor work ethics, and I specifically talk to a lot of my customers, and that discussion has come up quite a bit, and that is a common issue that a lot of employers are having, is finding reliable employment. The South African rand is worth 6 cents US. Wow. Does that mean I would be rich in South Africa with my what? So does that mean, is he saying that the average new car there goes for, would that be 6,000? Somebody do the calculation on that. Oh, okay. So one US dollar is 18 rand. Okay. Somebody do the conversion on that. I would like to. I'd really like to know what the average. I don't. I can't use my phone and calculator to do the calculation myself, or to Google. Otherwise, I would. But I'd really be interested in somebody giving me that calculation. But yeah, um, people showing up late, no call, no shows. There's so much that can affect that type of thing, and I wish more and more that Americans, especially kids my age, would just pause. uh 27,000. Hey, that's not bad. That's not crazy for a new car. Yeah, that's not terrible. That's most people here in the United States would say that would be a probably a middle of the road used car for that price. Yeah. So that puts it in perspective. That's crazy. Um, but yeah, maybe forego going to college. I posted a video um, a couple weeks ago talking about college, and I never went, didn't go to college. I make more money than most of my friends who did go to college, which is crazy to think about. Um, and you can do it. You can make it. You just have to be willing to do the opposite. Essentially, because I kind of think about this. Whatever people do that they consider normal, I do the opposite of that. So when people, because I watched it, I got to watch the people that were ahead of me. K Roach says, "Hi people, how are you doing today?" I'm doing great. I'm just here hanging out with y'all. I'm super thankful for each and every one of my subscribers. That's helped me reach 1,500 subscribers here on the platform. Has helped my friend Larry Bevan reach over 2,000 subscribers, and now he's at the point where he can start making money off of this thing. I'm not there yet, but it's such a blessing that he's seeing that type of success. But yeah, if you think about it, when I looked at what my options were at 18, I saw, okay, I can't smoke. That's illegal to purchase tobacco under 21 in the United States. I cannot drink. Can't drink under 21 in the United States. I can vote for who runs this country. I can die for this country, and I can get signed up for hundreds of thousands of dollars in student loan debt. And I said, bump that. I'm not doing that. So what I did was I graduated high school, and the first job I ever worked for was Chick-fil-A. And I was just, taking orders, bagging fries, and I did that for about 4 months. And then I went and I started doing the mechanic stuff. I did that for about 9 months. And then I went from there and got into doing electrical. I was going through trade school to become an electrician. That got closed down and kind of postponed. And while I was going to electric school, I tried to enlist in the military, but both of those things got stopped for the same reason, and that would be COVID. So I was trying to enlist in March of 2020. COVID hit. They said that they could no longer recruit people until I guess they figured out what it. So I went a different path. And then in 2021, I went to CDL school, and I spent $0 to get my CDL. And now, okay, so I'll say this. This is how I spent $0 getting my CDL. And maybe this is a video I should make talking about how I spent $0 and now I make almost, 6 figures doing it. But what happened was right after COVID, there was a trucker shortage. And so what I did was I went through the community college here in Virginia, and they had a workforce grant. So they would pay for 2/3 of your schooling. So it cost $5,000 to go to trucking school. They would pay for $3,500, leaving me $1,500 that I would have to pay out of pocket. On top of that, they were offering a workforce grant, which would pay back they would write you a check for $1,000. Now, granted, there was taxes on that. I found that out later, but $1,000 back. So it would really only be $500 out of pocket. Well, how did I get that $1,500? I got a $1,200 stimulus check. Plus a $500 stimulus check. Was it $500, the original stimulus check? I took my two stimulus checks, essentially, put them together, paid for myself to go through trucking school, got $1,000 back after I went through trucking school, and that $1,500 that I spent to go to trucking school, I make that is the minimum amount that I make per week. So, I 10x'd my investment, and it has paid me back tenfold. All right, let me go back up here and read some of these comments because I was ranting a little bit. Sorry about that, guys. Piper Dave says you have to go to college for a very specific reason, very specific careers that require a degree. Yeah, I believe that if you're going to go to college, and you can go for passions, but the only reason that I would recommend going to college is if you're going into to business, like business, law, the medical, and STEM. And besides that, besides that, I would be careful. Jay Mason says many younger generation adults can't critically think. The process of critical thinking is learned, from observation or being taught by the steps. You're an exception. I enjoy your channel. Thank you so much, Mason. Hopefully more people can take the time to educate themselves and to learn to critically assess things. Don't just take things at face value, because you will probably get screwed every single time. Where is your pipe? I didn't bring the pipe with me today. It's back at the house. I'm just out here. My wife is busy, and I had some free time, so I just popped on here for a quick live stream, since it's been about a month since I live streamed last. K Roach says my wife has a master's degree in art education. She was a teacher making $55,000. I did a millwright apprenticeship for 5 years, making 40 to 50,000. Now with my journeyman, I'm in the six-figure range. That's amazing. And what a lot of people don't understand is with trade schools specifically, it's typically low cost upfront. It's more transparent than college. Like when you go to trade school, you can pretty easily figure out you can easily determine how much it's going to cost you and what your projected pay is. And a rule of thumb that I kind of give people is, if you can't see yourself, whatever your student loans are going to be, if you don't see yourself projected to make that amount at minimum the first year of working out of college, don't do it. So if you're going to go get $20,000 in student loan debts to go to college, and you can only make $20,000 a year after you get out of college, maybe don't do that, right? Something like that. But yeah, trade school is an excellent option. I really recommend it. HNX Media says you can legally accrue debt before you drink in the USA. What a country. Absolutely. And but it's specifically the type of debt. It's non-bankruptable debt. You cannot bankrupt yourself out of student loan debts. You can, but it's very specific reasons. But if I tried going to a bank, any bank in the country, and asked them to sign me up for $100,000, just write me a loan for $100,000, the amount of checks and balances and processes I'd have to go through to do that, it'd be insane. But if I wanted to go and get a student loan for $100,000, they'd say, sign the dotted line, please. Craziness. I studied Bible counseling, and I'm now a mechanic. Hey, being a mechanic is a job that is an excellent career field. Um, it just didn't work out for me specifically. I'm not saying, but I definitely, as long as people are being transported, you always need a mechanic. So it's a great field to go into, and it's a great skill set to have. Um, K. Roach says, and she's a stay-at-home mom. The lie of college being necessary is just that. C.S. Lewis says the homemaker is the career for which all careers exist. Absolutely. My wife, um, the first year and a half was a full-time stay-at-home mom. Now she's majority stay-at-home mom, but she also does some nannying and daycare on the side. That brings in a little bit of an income, but she works either for herself or just is at home. I'm the primary provider. Uh, K Rose says I joined the Navy at 17. Couldn't even smoke yet. LOL. Yeah. K Roach, given the current, I have a question for you, and hopefully, I don't know how much of a comment this would take you to write out, but bear with me. How much would you recommend military service today? I hear differing opinions. Some people say that under the current political environment and the current state of leadership in the military, that it is no longer beneficial to join. On the other hand, if you're somebody who I would think, and you might be able to answer this question better than I can. My brother did serve 4 years in the Army. Um, so I have a little bit of connection there. I never did myself. Um, but would you recommend somebody go, if somebody doesn't know what to do, I'll give you three options. Would you say that they should rather, at 17, 18, 19 years old, would it be better for them to A, go to college and just take general studies, which a lot of people, a lot of my peers did. They went to college but they didn't know what they didn't know what they wanted to do, and they were just doing general studies. I'm like, you're racking up debt for general studies. Should they join the military, or should they just work? So if somebody doesn't know what to do and they're 17, 18, 19 years old, should they just work? Should they try joining the military for 4 years and getting some of those benefits, tuition, that kind of stuff? Or should they go to college like a lot of people do for general studies? I'd be interested to see what you say. In South Africa, you have to be 18 to buy alcohol and tobacco. Yeah, so it used to be 18 in the United States for tobacco and nicotine products, but they changed that in, was it 2020, 2021 to 21 years old. So, enjoy a tobacco pipe with me says I would join the military. Anthony Hernandez says join the military. I've always kind of leaned towards that, especially because I believe, somebody correct me if I'm wrong, does the military still offer a pension after 20 years of service? Somebody let me know. I was under the impression that they did. So if you can, now I would say that you need to be intentional with your military service, and prioritize yourself. Military service is an honor, and I thank every single one of our service members for their sacrifice. But one thing that I have learned from speaking with those who have served is that you should definitely prioritize taking care of yourself. So if you're going to go into the military, treat it like going to college. Make sure that you go in for something that's going to be beneficial for when you get out. K. Roach says, not at all with my current mindset. I went in 2009, and I wasn't saved at that point. And now I'm morally opposed to what our military is being made to do. It's called a thriving saving plan, or a thrifting saving plan. Sorry, I read that wrong. Um, Thank you, by the way, K Roach, for your service. Um, Now, what branch did he say? What branch he served in? The Navy. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for your service. Um, 2009 was a difficult time to be in the service. Um, K Roach says, I'd recommend trade school or an apprenticeship. Apprenticeships pay while you are in school. Yeah, that is true. So when I was going to electrical school, I was an electrician's apprentice. Now, I wasn't making a lot of money, I'll tell you that. This was 2019, so I was making 14 an hour. Nowadays, I'm sure that you can get paid a lot more just because um, those types of base wages have gone up quite a bit. I know a lot of people still think that, you know, minimum wage should be $26 an hour, which is freaking ridiculous. And get out of here with all that. But it is a lot better now than it was when I was going to trade school. And if you're like 18, 19, 20 years old, and you don't know what to do, um, and you can still live at home with your parents for 3, 4, 5 years, I would just work and get some skill sets, um, and just learn how to be a good worker. That's one thing that a lot of people don't know. A lot of people don't know how to be good employees. And that's where the real money is. It's not who you it's who you know. It's what skills do you have, and are you a good worker? Um, Being a good worker is a skill set. Somebody who's honest, somebody who has integrity, somebody who shows up on time, somebody who works hard, somebody who doesn't quit when you know the clock hits 4. They're willing to stick around and work it out. Being a hard worker is a skill set. Um, HNX Media says just work. Believe it or not, in modern workforces slash corporation, military service is not a positive. Yeah, I've heard. So I have a friend who served in the military, and with the way the political environment is now, unfortunately, our servicemen and women are treated poorly because of their service. And that reality is embarrassing. It's infuriating. It's disgusting that that's the way that it is. And my heart goes out to each and every one of our service members who's treated poorly because of their service. Um, and it's maddening to me that that is the state that our country is in currently. Yeah. But I don't want to get too political, right? We can't be too political on here, guys. Only if you want to be. We might get a little political. Um, you won't make a bunch while you're a red hat. I was making $20 an hour as an apprentice, but now I'm 39. I'm 39 now, which is the average age in my area for a journeyman. How much are you making as a journeyman? Um, you you don't have to get too specific if you don't want to, but if it's an hourly rate or a yearly rate, it'd be interesting to see what a journeyman is making. Oh, and did K. Roach say what his career field was? Millwright apprentice. Did he say? He might have said back. He said, I think he might have said something about 6 figures. So I'll just wait and see. Sorry, I'm plugging in. My phone is dying, so we might only get another 10 minutes out of this, 5 or 10 minutes. So we've almost been on here for an hour. So, corporations actually do get a kickback to hire wartime vets. HNX Media. I can say it's probably helped me get jobs. It's on the lines of an ADA hires when you fill out an application. $39 an hour is my wage. Ooh, hoo-hoo. That's good money. And when that overtime hits, ooh, boy, I bet those paychecks look sweet. But up to a certain point, because let me tell you, Uncle Sam gets paid out here. I work on average 50 plus hours a week, and I know I'm waiting for those comments where somebody's gonna say you got soft hands there, brother. Um, but up to a certain point, yeah, I know all of y'all are out here working, 90 hours a week, 7 days a month, or I'm sorry, 90 hours a day, 365. I know that y'all are just out here crazy. But after a certain point, do you guys not just see the law of diminishing returns where they're taking more out of your paycheck than it's worth to work? I don't know. That's just kind of been my feeling sometimes when I look at my paychecks at the end of the day. Get an an EMTB certification. EMS pays well, and I got mine while working full time, night classes. You can springboard onto firefighting, get your paramedic cert, and go from paramedic into RN, PA, etc. Hey, could you actually um, give me some more information on that, from going from being a paramedic into RNPA, because one of my buddies, he's 23 years old and he's married. We both got married about 6 months apart. We grew up together. He's a firefighter. He's been a firefighter ever since he got out of high school, and he feels stuck at his job and capped with the amount of money that he makes. And he's been talking to me because he and his wife are expecting, and because of that, he will be the sole income provider. And so it was talking to me, interested in ways for him with his skill set as a firefighter. I don't think he has any EMS or paramedic certifications currently, but if there's a path for him to move forward and potentially make more in the medical field, I'd love to know that information, because I'll be hanging out with him on Monday, and I'll mention it to him. If you have any information on that, I'd appreciate that. That's a good idea, Vizzle. I was a corpsman medic in the Navy. My heart just wasn't in it though, to continue it after I got out. But RNs make good money. Yeah, my brother served 4 years in the Army as a combat medic, and he does not. He just, when he got out, he just didn't have the heart to go into it, to continue to do that. But he was stationed at Fort Campbell, Kentucky, home of the 101st Airborne, when he served. You only need 1,000 patient hours, which should take a year or two, and you immediately qualify for RN or PA, etc. I made over $50,000 just as an EMT last year. Okay, nice. What state are you doing that in? I don't know if EMT salaries are different. I think he's making somewhere in the 60, 65-ish range now. But I also live in a higher cost of living area. Virginia does have some of the most expensive counties in the U.S. Fairfax, Loudoun County, Stafford County. These counties have some rich folks. And when I was an electrician's apprentice, I went to do a hot tub install. I was just doing the wiring for the hot tub, and the house that I was working on was a $24 million house. How do I know? The customer gave me the address, and I popped it into Zillow and saw what the Zillow estimate was, and it was $24 million. So, yeah, there's lots of money to be thrown around out here. Oh, are you saying that that PA is the state that you work in, or is that a position, like PA, like physician's assistant? I think it's important to love what you do. If you just run after money, you're miserable doing that work. Is it worth it? Yeah, I think that there's a balance to be made when it comes to loving what you do and making money, because you can make lots of money and hate your job. I'm I enjoy my job, right? I enjoy truck driving. It's not my passion, right? I'm good at my job. I enjoy it, but if I could have my, dream job, I would be I'd be a race car driver. I know, crazy, right? I'd love to become a um what county are you in? I grew up in Highland County, VA. Um, I live in Richmond, Virginia, the capital. But I'm all over the state and all over the region truck driving. But yeah, I'm in Richmond, capital, capital of the South, capital of Virginia. It's a great city. It's got its uh, North Carolina. Live in South Carolina. Okay, okay, awesome. I appreciate the information. Um, but yeah, it's a balancing act. Um, Trying to figure out what you're good at and what pays the bills. Because at the end of the day, for me specifically, I have a wife and a baby, and that paycheck's got to get made, whether or not I like it. And I will work and do anything out there under the sun that is legal and moral to make a dollar. If it is legal and it is moral, I will do it to provide for my family. Well, guys, I will be on here for another 3 minutes. Once we hit the hour mark, I'm going to have to hop off. It's not because I don't want to hang out with you guys more. It has more to do with the fact that my phone is dying and it was not charging at the rate that I thought it would be charging at. Um, K Rose says, I took my bike down Skyline Drive to Lexington / Appomattox a couple weeks ago. That's crazy because I was just driving my truck through Appomattox because I was heading out to Roanoke to make a delivery for a customer. And I realized, because I don't know why I wasn't thinking this way, but Appomattox is where the Civil War ended. Well, ended, but that is where Robert E. Lee surrendered to Ulysses S. Grant, and the United States was reunited. And I have been wanting to go there and kind of tour it and go to the Civil War Museum. So I hope to do that one of these weekends here and head to Appomattox. It's about an hour and 15-minute drive from my house. So I wanted to become nature rescue. Yeah, that's a really good. Well, I don't know how well paying it is, but it's a very strong career, morally speaking, job to do. I'm going to make another scripture reading video tomorrow. Awesome, awesome. Look forward to that. All right, my phone is at 16%, guys. So we got 1 minute left. You should. Lexington is great as well. Lots of history and museums. Plus, they are affordable. Okay, I'll keep that in mind. I've been trying to come up with some things to do because my wife's birthday is coming up. She'll be turning 21, and so trying to figure out what to do for her birthday weekend. But in the final seconds as we land the airplane on this live stream, I want to take some time to personally thank each and every one of you guys who have tuned in so far for this live stream. Thank you so much. I appreciate your support. I love hearing from each and every single one of you guys. Kay Roach, thank you for being here, enjoying that pipe with me with Jakes. Thanks for being here. Viz Miser, thank you for being here. I want to thank again HNX Media, Piper Dave. Thank you all for commenting, liking, subscribing, being a part of this community. I appreciate every single one of you guys so much, and I enjoy watching some of your guys' content. Those of you who make content, and for those of you who are just lurking and hanging out, I want to thank you again for watching the content. I'll be posting a new video here shortly, and as always, thanks for watching. I'll catch you guys later, and hopefully we can do this again sometime soon, and I'll catch you guys in a video. Peace out.